Former President Donald Trump is facing a potentially critical deadline today. It's his last chance to file for an emergency stay with the Supreme Court on his federal election interference case. Trump argues that he cannot be criminally charged because of absolute presidential immunity. However, a federal court rejected that argument last week. So Katrina Kaufman is here in Studio 57. She's an attorney and a CBS News campaign reporter. Good to see you again, Katrina.
Good morning.
Okay, so when that court said that, absolute immunity is not a proper defense, they also gave Donald Trump and his attorneys an option to take it straight to the Supreme Court. Not to sort of take it to another court and work your way up, but if you don't agree with this, then take it directly to the Supreme Court. Today is the deadline. What are the odds that he's going to be doing that?
I mean, I think he'll definitely be doing that. He said he's going to appeal. Basically, today, he's going to request an emergency stay, which keeps the D.C. election interference case that Jack Smith has been prosecuting on pause. And then there are a few things that could happen. The Supreme Court could grant the stay. That takes the vote of 5 justices to do that. And then they could either set a timeline for him to apply for cert for the court to actually consider the case, or they could treat the emergency stay application as a petition in itself. And there's a legal scholar, Steve Vladeck, who analyzed this, and he said since October 2020, they've done that 16 times. It used to be very rare for them to treat a stay application as a cert petition, but maybe this will be the 17th time. The other thing they could do is they could grant the stay and then not set a timeline for Trump to apply for cert, which would really potentially delay Jack Smith's case, because Trump would have a lot more leeway there. So there's a few ways they could also deny.
Okay,
of course.
yeah,
they
I was
could
going to
deny
say
the stay.
all of these options suggest a delay in some way. Okay.
They could deny cert. There's a bunch of options on the table, and we'll see what
How quickly will we find out what their decision is?
I've heard speculation that they could decide probably by February 19th.
Okay.
We don't know for sure, maybe even by Friday, but people feel like they want to make these decisions quickly. These are consequential cases.
Yeah.
There's also the Colorado case that just happened, and there's some speculation that maybe they'll want to make these decisions together even. I think people are thinking that they're probably going to reject the disqualification of Trump from the ballot, but maybe they'll say, we won't disqualify him, but we will either affirm this decision that Trump is not immune from prosecution, or allow that case to move forward.
Very interesting. Okay, also today, the former president and his attorneys will be taking part in a closed-door hearing about access to evidence in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case, for them to have access. Okay, interesting.
So this is highly unusual.
Yeah.
Normally, this is something where only the prosecution will meet with the judge in these closed-door hearings to talk about how classified evidence will be handled. And often they'll determine that, maybe they'll just give the defense a summary of the document, or like a statement affirming certain facts that are in it. So for the defense and Trump himself to be participating in this type of hearing, it's really not usually done. So the way it's going to be split is that part of the hearing is with the defense and the judge, and part of it is with special counsel Jack Smith, and we won't actually get to find out what happened here, because these are all sealed.
And so is part of the reason this is happening, is it because that we're talking about classified documents and you can't just have you got a legal team of I don't know how many lawyers, you can't just have everyone having access to this stuff?
Of course, this is really sensitive material. That's the whole point of this case.
Right.
That this type of information isn't supposed to be held by, someone who's no longer president, for example. So, it's very sensitive discussions that are going on, and it could have consequences if Judge Cannon allows Trump to have access to certain information. Jack Smith could potentially appeal that to the 11th Circuit, and it would be very unusual for Cannon to make that choice. So this could even put her position as a judge on this case in jeopardy.
Wow. Okay, next, we've got the Georgia case, the Fulton County, Georgia case. Today, there's going to be a hearing on District Attorney Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade's efforts to quash subpoenas for them to testify. Is this in relation to the divorce case or something completely different?
This is just as a reminder for people. There have been allegations that the district attorney in Georgia, Fani Willis, who's helming the election interference case in Fulton County, had a romantic relationship with the special prosecutor she hired, Nathan Wade. And on Thursday, there's supposed to be a hearing where Judge McAfee, the judge in this case, is going to hear about these allegations, and they're both supposed to testify. So today, there's now a hearing that was just scheduled last minute on Friday where they're trying to quash these subpoenas. They don't want to testify on Thursday, and so today the judge will now be hearing about that, and that will, determine how happens on Thursday. So it's been a very complicated case.
Yes, all of them are.
So much drama.
Yeah.
They're also accused of enriching themselves financially from this. They're saying that because she hired someone that they're saying is her romantic partner,
right,
that they're both now financially benefiting, and there's dispute about the timeline of when their relationship started. Fonnie Willis says it happened after she hired him. Michael Roman, who's a co-defendant who brought these allegations, is saying that he thinks they're lying and it happened before. So there's a lot that we're going to learn in the coming week, hopefully.
And you have a soon-to-be ex-wife all up in that
and there's
mix.
also the divorce going on. So many things.
Katrina Kaufman, thank you so much.
Thank you.